Pokemon's mobile TCG has been out recently, and I've been enjoying it. As a kid, I mostly played the TCG through the Game Boy version, and the mobile game has allowed me to get back into the game without spending any money. I've been adjusting to some of the new rules like trainer support cards, and you're only allowed to use one per turn. That said, I've decided to make a video to personally rank the mobile game's short list of trainer support cards. Starting off with number 9 is Lieutenant Surge. Lieutenant Surge allows you to move your electric energy from your bench Pokemon to either Raichu, Electrode, or Electabuzz in your active Pokemon zone. At the time of this video, your choice of Pokemon is limited and what is currently available isn't worth it. You could use a Raichu Magneton combo with Surge, but that's a bit too slow to get done, and you're limited to 2 copies of Lieutenant Surge. Also, I'm not sure if this effect will work on EX versions or any other superpowered version that will appear in the future. There will be more Raichu, Electrode, and Electabuzz for Lieutenant Surge to use, but the card only moves energy placed instead of making more, and that's why it's placed on the bottom of this list. Coming up in number 8 is Blaine. Blaine helps you put the hurting on your opponent by boosting the damage of your Ninetales, Rapidash, or Magmar to do an extra 30 damage. That 30 damage is very helpful and can be all you need to make your attack a one-hit KO. Unfortunately, Blaine can only be applied to 3 different cards. Ninetales can do 90, but you discard a fire energy. Rapidash can do 40 for a single fire energy, and Magmar can do 50 with 2 fire energy. 120 damage is really good and can definitely put out nearly every basic and stage 1 Pokemon with a single attack. Unfortunately, the limited application is what holds this card back. Like Lieutenant Surge, there will be more versions of Ninetales, Rapidash, and Magmar to use, but currently lacks any serious cards to make Blaine a must-have. In number 7, we have Brock. Brock allows you to place 1 fighting energy from your energy zone to your Golem or Onix. Again, like the previous 2 cards mentioned, your targets are very limited. As good as Ramp is in any TCG, a restriction like this is rather off-putting. Onix can do 70 damage, but it needs 3 fighting energy. It has enough HP as a basic to tank a few hits before doling it out. Golem, on the other hand, can crush most Pokemon in a single hit, but does 50 damage to itself, which could be the difference between surviving the next attack if it doesn't knock itself out from the self-inflicted damage. Brock is good ramp, but doesn't do enough. As of the first set of cards, the Genetic Apex series, healing is very rare. You can get a potion card from the shop with 2 shop tickets, or you can try number 6, Erica. Erica can heal 50 damage to any grass-type Pokemon. While limited to only grass-type Pokemon, healing 50 is a massive difference between surviving the next attack. Grass types are currently the only Pokemon capable of healing, so that can add to the survivability of your active Pokemon or your bench Pokemon, because bench attackers are a thing too. Healing is currently a rarity, and scoop-up cards are non-existent within the mobile game, with one exception. Introducing number 5, Koga. Scoop-up is an original card that allows you to return a Pokemon back to your hand like a full reset without having your Pokemon get knocked out, thus denying your opponent a prize card or a point in the mobile game. Koga, despite being limited exclusively to Muck and Weezing, could be game-saving as Muck or Weezing can take a large hit, get scooped up with Koga, and reset Grimer or Coughing. You can then hit back with whoever you have prepared in your bench to go on the offensive. Muck and Weezing aren't bad Pokemon either, as Muck can hit for either 70 or 120 if your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, and Weezing is capable of automatically poisoning your opponent's active Pokemon without so much as an attack. It's possible for you to use Weezing to poison your opponent's active Pokemon, have Koga scoop Weezing, put Muck in the active spot, and hit with Venoshock to guarantee a total of 130 damage. It's a great defensive card with offensive capability, unlike all the other cards on this list. Number 4 is Giovanni. Giovanni allows you to give your next damaging attack to do an additional 10 damage to the opponent's active Pokemon. There's no limits or restrictions on which Pokemon you can use it on. It's not as big of a buff as Blaine, but 10 damage could be the difference between a big attack and a one-hit KO. The one downside is this doesn't affect the bench, so if you're trying to use attacks like Hitmonlee's Stretch Kick or Zebstrika's Thunder Spear to attack the bench, You're wasting your 1 supporter card per turn. Number 3 is Professor's Research. Like Pot of Greed in Yu-Gi-Oh!, I have no idea what this card does. Maybe somebody can tell me in the comments. Energy Ramp is a very popular strategy. Pokemon like Gardevoir, Meltan, Magneton, and Moltres EX make great on Ramp. And then there's Trainer Brock, but there's one more card that has better potential. Coming in at number 2, Misty. Misty is limited to water Pokemon in the 50-50 of a coin flip, but the potential can be absolutely devastating. There are a number of water Pokemon that can greatly benefit even from a single heads on a coin flip, and more energy can be of even greater benefit. And with more water Pokemon to be released in the future, the possibilities will be even greater. This card can even be used on turn 1 where you're not allowed to attach an energy to a Pokemon and potentially bring the game to a quick close. This card is a real winner, but the chance that you get nothing due to your first flip being Tails is what holds this card back from being in the number 1 spot. That's why I picked the number 1 trainer support to be Sabrina. Sabrina is simple. Your opponent switches out their active Pokemon with a Pokemon on their bench. If they only have 1 Pokemon on the bench, this can lead to disrupting an opponent by forcing them to waste energy to retreat, or they let the replacement take damage until knocked out, scoring a point. And if your opponent doesn't have a bench Pokemon to substitute with, it's ready and waiting for the next target to be set up and knocked down. When you need 1 point remaining and your opponent has a weak bench Pokemon to be picked off, Sabrina is your winning choice. The only downside is your opponent gets to pick, and if they have more than 1 Pokemon on the bench, or a Pokemon with no retreat cost, they'll choose to pick the one that benefits them the most. And that's the list. Do you agree with my personal ranking? If not, let me know what changes you would make to the rankings in the comments because I'm genuinely curious. Thanks for watching. And that's the list. Do you agree with my personal ranking? If not, let me know what changes you would make to the rankings in the comments because I'm genuinely curious.